Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. The top stories on the desk. Small-scale farmers in Southern Province bemoan the high cost of fertilizer. Speaker's interpretation of the law over 9 PF members of Parliament out of order, observes fresher SIWALE.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Tonight, 13th December 2021, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts President Xavier Chishimba of the United Progressive Party, UPP.
Uniting the country is not about everyday rhetoric, it's about actions. Zambians must unite and hate all political leaders who practice practical tribal politics. Our country was founded on the Creed One Zambia nation.
Don't miss at exactly 20:45 hours as they discuss various national matters.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The Midday News in detail. A family of Lusaka's Jolo area has demanded investigations into the alleged land encroachment in Jolo settlement area, Chongwe district. This was after the said land owner, Beverly Mudenda, found people constructing at the land without his knowledge. Meanwhile, one of the developers who also has title from the Ministry of Lands says that the authority gave him the leeway to start the constructions. Details in this report.
Confusion erupts in the matter of the Mudenda family confronting the land developers on this 29 hectares piece of land in Jolwe settlement, Chongwe district. According to the available information, this land belonged to the late Mr. Mudenda Sr., father to Beverly Mudenda, in whose name this land is titled. However, this complex issue has brought about confusion between the two parties upon discovery that the Ministry of Land issued land titles to other 40 landowners, while according to Ms. Beverly, the land was still titled in her name. To get to the root of this confusion, this journalist accompanied this family as they embark on a journey to claim what they say belongs to them.
This land here, Njorwe, L57, is actually on title, as you can actually see. So, I, as Mr. Nando Chama, the brother to our sister here, Beverly Mudenda, was the only person who was actually taking care of this land. So as at now, like yesterday, we went to the Minister of Lands, we found that the title is still intact. She's been settling even the rates. So for us as of now, these guys, they're going to be flushed out. We are going to make sure that either their structures are going to be demolished or they just built for us.
And Miss Beverly Mudenda explains her side of the story.
That was 2017. Permanent nbanina changes title kuyenda mzina yanga kuchosa mzina ya batati. Permanent nafika tinapeza tinabwana survey so that wachite survey the whole land. Kuti tuone ngati ya jamachani yali pa title ma hectares niyo kwana. That's how permanent napeza bazimba nabaja basari bali paja baja bachinyumba chikuru. Permanent nafika banakamba kuti muyenda kuti muno ni murandi mwanga. Kufipishi wapaja pa nyumba paja pamene banamanga bazimba penze nyumba. If you can see kuja kumbali kuli ma bricks ya mene yanapwanyiwa banapwanya na marata banatenga. So nenzo yopa I am ready sinza kwanisa kuyapo chita fight na wewe chukwa nikabwera nenzo peza ba caretaker bao bani uza uti bazimba banacho samao ya kuti anytime Beverly ametizaka muona pano pa farm tizaka mushuta timupa ninayambo yopa chukwa nalibe wontanzira ba brothers sivenzeko.
This journalist managed to get one of the developers who revealed that the matter has been to court, which ruled the total opposite from what the Mdendas are alleging.
So what happened was the ministry did an advert in the newspapers. They followed procedure. They did an advert letting the family know that that land, the lease had expired. When they didn't receive any indication of application for renewal of the lease to the 99-year lease, the government replanned that area and gave out 40 new titles, of which mine is one of them. So that land that she went to has 21 properties, of which it came from one title, and there are 40 others that are surrounding our property. None at all. I even explained to her in there, if you go to the first judgment, she lost the first case and appealed.
Ms. Sally has further indicated that the only way to settle this issue is to let the law take its course.
What I just don't agree is her approach. You can't take people to court, then still go back to the same property that you've gotten an injunction for. The injunction work protects both parties, not just her. So I saw she had letters from the ministry, she had letters from where, but she's not explaining in detail where the issue is. She's just starting afresh and dragging it even further. Because the only place that's going to assist her at this point where we are, it's the court of law.
However, the Mdendas are determined to follow up the issue as they advance for reclaim. One can only hope for the legal procedure to determine whose this land rightfully belongs to. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Opposition New Labour Party leader Fresha SIWALE has charged the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, used emotions when she ordered the 9 Patriotic Front members of Parliament should not attend Parliament business till the Constitutional Court hears their appeal. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. SIWALE says the Speaker is not on firm ground to make such a decision, as it is not her duty to interpret the law. Mr. SIWALE explains that the said 9 members of Parliament are protected by the Bill of Rights and that their appeal before the court acts as a stay of execution. Hence, they have the right to be in Parliament. He adds that the ruling by the Speaker creates complications within the governance system of the country.
Fierce criticism continued to be thrown over the decision by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, that saw her last week Tuesday outrightly demanding that 9 Patriotic Front members of Parliament whose seats were nullified do not qualify to continue sitting in Parliament until their appeal is heard by the Constitutional Court. Although there is a specific article and clause from the Constitution which indicates such, some stakeholders are of the view that other references and precedents do not support the singular article in question, arguing that her jurisdiction ends at making laws, while it is the duty of the judiciary to interpret laws.
2016 Constitution Amendment, the Speaker is on firm ground. But if we read it together with the Bill of Rights, the Speaker is outside the law. Because in this situation, we must not use emotion. Yes, the Constitution, the same Constitution, is saying that an appeal does not mean a stay of execution. But at the same time, those members of Parliament, they are protected by the Bill of Rights, okay? They have a right to, to an appeal. And an appeal must be a stay of execution. Now, if the Speaker insists there's no stay of execution, it's not for the Speaker to interpret the law. Parliament is meant to make laws, not to interpret the law.
Several individuals, including those from the legal fraternity, have also joined the line, condemning her action and describing it as unconstitutional.
So the implication of the Speaker's ruling is that people in the affected constituency will, if it takes a year, it means that for a year they will have no representative in the National Assembly.
However, some are still of the view that the Speaker was on firm ground, as this critical debate regarding the interpretation of the Constitution continues, just like the 9 PF members of Parliament who have commenced a judicial review before the Constitutional Court against this decision are waiting for the highest court in the land to give a ruling. So can stakeholders and other concerned citizens waits to hear the interpretation of the law from the court. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Community Action Against Corruption has urged the former ruling Patriotic Front officials and sympathizers not to politicize the fight against corruption adopted by the new administration. Organization Chief Executive Officer Brighton Temple has alleged that the PF opted to participate in corruption instead of fighting it again, hence thinking they are being targeted. He has since urged the government to arrest any PF officials and their sympathizers as possible on condition that they are found wanting and illegally benefited from state resources through corrupt practices.
It's very clear that everything that is happening, whether it is the arrest of PF leaders, members, the brutalization of our cadres, and even what we are seeking the court to help the country keep our democracy afloat, is as a result of the hatred and as a result of the vindictiveness of the leader.
While the opposition Patriotic Front are still crying foul, claiming of being politically prosecuted, majority of citizens have chosen to disagree with their claims. The Community Action Against Corruption organization states that the Patriotic Front should not seek for sympathy when the law is just trying to catch up with those who might have allegedly committed criminal activities whilst they were in government. The organization Chief Executive Officer Brighton Temple has also alleged that the previous regime opted to actively participate in corruption instead of fighting against it.
The former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, not to undermine the fight against corruption by insinuating that they are being targeted for prosecution concerning corruption-related matters. What the Patriotic Front should realize is the fact that these people were given time, enough time, 7 years to fight corruption, but they opted not to fight corruption. In short, they participated in it. So when time to reckon comes, let them face the law, not by turning into crying babies so that they can win sympathy of the Zambians. We can also wish or urge the investigative wings of government to continue arresting the people as long as they were involved in corrupt practices. If the reasons for their arrests are valid, let them be arrested and they can be acquitted by the courts of law. Crying out to win sympathy will not help this matter. So let the Patriotic Front be helpful to the state so that the issue concerning corruption during their time can be settled.
The questions that many citizens are left with is whether the law enforcement agencies should stop prosecuting former government officials if they are found wanting, because many may term the move as political prosecution. Well, many have borrowed the words of former President Edgar Lungu that anyone who breaks the law, regardless of their status in society, they must face the law.
Let's forget about the past wrongs. But if you don't they were going to plant a wall. You know, privatization about saying about the fear but no after 2021. It is important to teach people a lesson, especially in incorrigible. Mere prediction of the word incorrigible.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A small-scale farmer in Namwala district of Southern Province, Boniface Nkande, has bemoaned the high cost of fertilizer, which he says is unaffordable to many farmers who are not on the Farmer Import Support Program. Mr. Nkande has, however, called on fellow farmers to use other alternative farming practices that are non-costly and improve soil fertility, such as the use of cow dung and chicken manure. Meanwhile, Mr. Nkande stressed the need and importance for individuals in various sectors to belong to cooperatives. He explains that it is easier for government to aid cooperatives unlike trying to assist individuals.
Cooperatives, as they are, they mean well for this country because it puts, cooperatives put people into clusters or certain groups that have the common interest, be it in farming, carpentry, and maybe other things like welding and some other small things that people are supposed to take up to sustain themselves. It is an easier way for the government to give people money through these cooperatives, so that when that money is given, as groups, as groups or as people that have common interest, they can put their heads together and do to their best whatever they stand for. Those that are in carpentry, they can manage to get timber as a group, and even the government could also come in to try to help them where they are going to sell their timber, or if they were in farming, where they are going to sell their farming products.
Well, that item ends our midday news. The headlines once again. Small-scale farmers in Southern Province bemoan the high cost of fertilizer. Speaker's interpretation of the law over the 9 PF members of Parliament out of order, observes fresher SIWALE. Thank you so much for joining us for the midday news. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good afternoon. Keep watching Camnet TV.